Hey there folks, I am Becky with Enduring Finances. Welcome to my channel. Today we're taking a look at the April breakdown for the rental expenses on my budget, business expenses, all of that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my handy dandy spreadsheet that breaks down all of the expenses, income, and everything in between. So let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start off with the rental expenses. First thing is going to be the mortgage. Paid that $1,209 even. It was an even month, April 4, so we didn't owe any trash, we didn't owe any sewer. Internet is incredibly expensive because we did the transition from having CenturyLink into T-Mobile home internet, so we ended up spending about $67 on CenturyLink and finishing that out, and then $55 getting that T-Mobile internet set up with a new router and all the things. So that should be finalized, and next month moving forward we should just see T-Mobile, which is going to be a little bit cheaper than CenturyLink, and hopefully it functions better for the tenant that we have in there right now. But we went way over, spending $122.02 total on internet. Then we get into water. Then we get into water breakdown because it is an even month. We spent $32.85 there. As far as electrical, $208.53. And then other expenses where we really get into the big boys for this month. We all know that Idaho gets really hot in the summer. I haven't had an AC unit. It's been my goal to install one. So we went ahead and did that. So we spent $6,600.50 installing a new AC unit in the rental house. We brought in 3 different vendors to look at, had them give me price quotes, went back and forth, was able to talk one down from essentially $7,200 is what he originally said, and brought that all the way down to $6,600.50. So I think we did all right as far as negotiating and working all the angles we could to get the best deal. That being said, I had to go out to the rental house and meet with these folks and do some work on trimming landscape and all of that. So I did spend $18.90 on gas. And then because we did have such a big astronomical expense, I didn't owe any taxes on what we did this month because I didn't make any income. And more than likely, that's going to carry over for the rest of the year. We'll have to see how that plays out, just because that was such a big expense that I'm going to have a hard time making up the difference over this next year, just because everything is so expensive. So in total, between all of the regular expenses, the new rental, the new AC unit, and the gas, we spent $8,191.80 on the rental property, which is about $6,000 more than what we estimated, which is exactly what that AC unit cost. But we got it installed, it's working great, and that is a huge win as far as the rental property business. Let's go ahead and look at my general business expenses now. Alright, so we have Holy Smokes Photography. We spent $4.80 in Etsy fees and $28.47 in Etsy marketing. Need to adjust this because we are not seeing any returns on this. It is the low season for the photography business, but it's always hard to see that money go out the window with no revenue coming in. As far as home offices, where we're at right now, $6.49 internet, $2.97 sewer, $2.20 garbage, $3.04 water, $6.13 for gas, and then $5 for electrical, bringing that total 10% of my home breakdown to $25.89. And then other expenses, we have $5 in banking fees. We had to renew Microsoft, the system, so $99.99 there, and that's all. So other expenses came to $104.99, bringing my total business expenses between Holy Smokes Photography, the home office, and just other general expenses with the rental house to $8,355.95. Again, we're seeing that $6,000 plus because of the AC unit there. But let's go ahead and jump into the income and see how that kind of is hopefully evening it out a little bit. That AC unit was a big bite. As far as income goes, earned 34 cents off website ads on Enduring Finances. Holy Smokes Photography was a big fat zero. As far as the rental house, we did make $2,000 in income, not income, we earned $2,000 from that as far as just the monthly payment by my tenant for Furnish Finder. So $2,000.34 in total here. We're doing pretty good. We've had the same tenant in for 4 months now. No signs of them leaving, so we're getting paid every single month, and we're okay with that. So between all of this, we are seeing a loss of $6,335.61. Income was just over $2,000. Expenses were way over $8,000. That's where we're seeing that. As far as the breakdown goes, during finances, expenses $130.88. We made 34 cents, so we are at a loss of $130. Holy Smokes Photography lost $33.27. And then the rental house loss of $6,191.80 because our income did not cover expenses. But that's gonna end the total breakdown of the budget and all the money coming in and out for the rental house this last month. Putting the AC in it is a huge step forward, very costly, but it's going to pay off because it's going to get to 100 plus degrees and that house needs to be cool for tenants. So in the long term, it is the smart plan. Big tough one to bite and swallow and pay. We did pay out of pocket for that. So didn't go into any debt to pay the AC unit off, but that means that we lost some money from our savings to do that. But a step has been taken. And I'm glad that that is out of the way, taken care of. We don't have to worry about that or fret about that anymore. But all in all, that's going to wrap up the budget for this last month. We're already headed into May, and it's going to be a quick, fast month, and into June, wedding season and all of that. So I'm going to leave this here, and I will see you next time, folks, where I break down all the investment returns that I earned for the month of April. And then the following video will be all the dividend income and all the individual dividends that I earned for the month of April as well. So until then, folks, I will see you later. Bye-bye.